All right, let's do some best bets.
It's best bets. It's best bets. It's time for all the best bets.
It is the best bets. I mentioned this at the top, talking about some over-unders for the NBA. I've already broken this down plenty of times, and you can actually see it on the old website, codebets.com.au.
Absolutely.
My 10 favorite over-unders. There'll be a breakdown of every single team's over-under, hopefully going up later today. But either way, there'll be a bunch of award breakdowns, all that sort of stuff. Brought to you by Stats Guy and I. But my favorite four, I think, that'll actually give you a bit of juice. The Thunder over 44.5. I love this Thunder team. I think between Josh Giddey, SGA, and then, of course, the big man, the stick insect, Chet Holmgren.
Yes.
He looks awesome. God, he gives them exactly what they need. Just a little bit of extra backline defense, a bit of, offense out of the 5 spot. It allows the Williamses to just sort of run rampant. I think they scooch over this 44.5 win line mark pretty easily. 45, 46 shouldn't be out of range. Even though the West is an absolute just like horror show this year.
Yeah.
I think the Thunder, this is the sort of team that you love to go over with. Because I think, as I said, in a roundabout way last week on NBA Australia, when I was doing these over-unders, is that the Thunder feel like last year's Sacramento, and Sacramento last year were the year prior as Memphis, and Memphis the year before.
True, there's always a team, yeah.
It's just like you have to have that young team that has that hunger just to keep going night in, night out, and that's exactly what the Thunder are. So I love that as one of my best bets, the Thunder over 44.5. The Mavs under 44.5. Talk about horror shows in the West. For a team that doesn't play any defense, I would also be looking at Jason Kidd to be the first coach fired.
Oh, wow. That's a big call.
If you think under 44.5 for Dallas, like if it goes bad, Kidd will be out the door quicker than you can say boo.
Yep.
Like, because they'll move him before they move Kyrie, and they might end up moving Kyrie by January or February anyway, right?
That'd be a good multi.
It's kind of like it's like causational basically, but I just don't trust this Mavs team because even though offensively they could be absolutely blowing the doors off teams, that's the problem with not playing any defense and having a really bad defense is that you'll also blow games. And you do tend to be like a 44-win team if you are really heavily balanced. Like if you don't have someone like KD that can sort of play even a liquor defense on the other end, it just feels like Kyrie and Luka, it's just too heavily weighted offensively. And without rim protection, I just don't like it.
Yeah, they don't have any like gun bigs, do they, really?
I'm going to go under that 44.5. Same thing for my Miami, 45.5. They gave up 2 starters in pursuit of Dame Lillard. Didn't get Dame, and people were like, nah, Miami will be fine. It's like,
no,
with what?
Their bench is
with what?
not good.
Old Kyle Lowry, get out of here. Come on, man. He's like older than I am. Like, this is stupid. And like Jimmy Butler's awesome. Bam Adebayo's awesome. We get that. Maybe the Tyler Hero Renaissance Tour starts here, but I never trust a guy in a bucket hat. It's one of my rules. We're going to go under 45.5 just because I think Miami will sort of just do enough to, again, similar to what they did last year, make the play-in tournament, make the playoffs, whatever. But I think that middle part of the East, outside of the top 2, is going to be just full of really half-decent to good teams, like the Brooklyns of the world, Atlanta, New York, even Indy. Like I think I went under on Indy's total, and I just think they might just end up being like a weird casualty of every so often if like they cop one injury, like the bottom could fall out of that team like it did last year when Halliburton missed some time.
Yeah.
So I think between Cleveland, look, I've been bang on about Cleveland, but if the Donnie Mitchell situation there gets weird, who knows what could happen, but they're going to be really tough. Chicago, they've got a bunch of veterans. It's just going to be tough for Miami to sort of grind through that and get to 46 wins. I just find it really hard to believe. Flip side, Celtics over 54.5. This is your beloved Celtics there, Stats Boy.
Got my top on here. I think just the pickup. I think Drew Holiday will be one of the pickups of the offseason. He's awesome. Got Porzingis, needs to stay fit, Tatum. But yeah, Tatum. Yeah.
Tatum for MVP, the $8 mark. I absolutely love that still. And I just think they fly over the 54.5 win total. I mean, they did it well over this last year. You had the extreme zinger mill in. They go absolutely hammer and tongs. They'll be pushing for the 1 seed because they know that they just – you'd rather not play Milwaukee in a Game 7. I'm just saying.
True.
So 4-leg multi of those 4, $13.36.
Wow.
Just saying.
That's awesome. I'd like to give that a 10. Those are my over-under picks.
Press the button there, Gerald. Rate my multi.
Rate my multi.
I went a bit early on the rating there, but I was going to give it a 10. Those would probably be some of my favorite over-unders as well. The one that's the iffy one, I reckon, is the Mavs, but I don't trust their defense, like you mentioned.
Exactly. I think the Dallas thing is like probably the one that I would be most hesitant out of those four. And like if there was, and like trying to dig through like what are your actual other locks. I just love this one a little bit more than the others because it just gives you a little bit of juice. And
like 44, that's still a lot. So
because there's like the other ones where if you want to go, is there a lock for the Lakers to go over 47.5? Maybe, probably. But if AD's hurt, and LeBron misses some time as well, who knows what could happen, right? The Knicks 44.5. That feels pretty low to me as well. But at the same time, if it just goes sideways, which it very easily could, that could go under. Like I've talked about the Wizards, how bad they're going to be. The under is like $1.85 anyway. So I'm sort of like, I'm a little bit more bullish on some of these other ones. Atlanta's only 42.5. I'd maybe substitute that in. I think they'll be pretty good with an actual coach, Quinn Snyder. And doing some pretty good things there. Phoenix at 52.5 is pretty good as well because that's like a hint low. But I just don't like this Mavs team. I really don't.
Fair.
So. All right. I've got a same game multi as well that I'll be judging for tomorrow, for today's Dolphins-Eagles game.
Oh, I'm going to have to have a look at
this. For the Niners, etc. I think because I don't trust that Minnesota stuff at all. You could probably just multi up. Simply, if we do this one live, we'll go a George Kittle anytime touchdown. Let's do it.
This is just your fantasy team.
This is basically a fantasy team. So the over 43.5, as I mentioned, the Niners -7, anytime touchdown scorer. We'll go for the George Kittle. That's $9.18, just straight up like that. So
okay, that's very good.
Got to find some points to get to 44, but I think that's all right. So anyway, Stats Guy, what's your best bet?
Going to an old favorite, the tennis and the ATP, Basel Swiss Indoors. Everyone loves this tournament. Andy Murray is taking on Yannick Hanfmann. I'm going to go Andy Murray to go the over of total games. You got to just go over total games in the match because I've said this a million times at the start of the year. I'm going back to it. The stats are backing it up once again. 10 of Andy Murray's last 12 matches have gone over that 22 total games. It's a lot of games, but that includes 8 of those matches going the full 3 sets. All of these tournaments around this time are all 3-set matches max. And for some reason, even if I saw a game, it was a match that he was $1.20 favorite, went the full 3 sets, just got over the line. Then he had one that he was an underdog that just got over the line in 3 sets or he just lost in 3 sets. He's just, I don't know what goes through his head. He's just like, can't get over the line quickly. So over 22.5 total games, I think it's great value, $1.85. I think on some sites it was even $1.70 because people are starting to catch on to Andy Murray's over-unders. It just always goes under. I've got over it. Over, because of all the games. It's pretty crazy.
He just doesn't want to be a fast finisher stats guy.
He really doesn't. And especially on the hard courts as well. He's really good on the grass courts, especially from being from England and things like that. So he sort of gets through the matches quickly there. But on the hard courts like this in Switzerland, he's just going to I think it's going to be a really long match again. That's pretty even in the odds. So I'm going to take Andy Murray, though. I think he's a stronger hardcourt player than Hanfmann. Hanfmann's been struggling this year on the surface. He's 6-8 in 2023 on hardcourts, which is pretty average compared to Andy Murray's 14-10. So Andy Murray to win and the over 22.5 total games is $2.85. I thought that was really good value there. And Andy Murray's had a resurgence of his career this year. So going to back for him overnight.
There you go. So it's got to go the 4-3.
Yes.
Well, if you go 7-6, and you make it.
Yeah, I think it will still go the full 3 because they do match up really closely. But I think
6-6-4.
just would drag himself over the line.
I hate it when you make me do math with tennis.
Yeah. Just make sure it's a long match. Andy Murray, he loves them.
That's great, though. $2.85 to go the over and Andy to win.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
It's an old favorite.
Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.